press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello everyone. So last class we discussed about the process of adsorption, right? So with that let us move on to the next concept. In case of this surface chemistry, as I told in the beginning, there are three concepts we are going to discuss. That is adsorption, catalysis, and one more is there, that is nothing but the colloids, right? Let us start with the second concept, that is nothing but catalysis. Right? Yes. You all familiar with the term catalyst, right? You already come across in the chapter chemical kinetics, I think. That is catalyst, right? It is a chemical substance which increase the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any quantitative change in its mass, or you can say in its composition. Quantitative change in its composition as well as chemically it will remain same. That substance is called as a catalyst. So what is a catalyst? A substance which alters rate of chemical, or you can say which alters, or you can say yes, alters the rate of a chemical reaction that alters a rate of chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical and quantitative change in itself is called as a catalyst. That means to say, alters means it may increase or decrease the rate of reaction. That depends on the type of catalyst again. That's why we are using the term substance which alters the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical and quantitative change in itself, right? So the phenomenon is called as what? Catalysis. That is, the work of catalyst is nothing but the catalysis. The phenomenon is called catalysis, right? So let us understand with the help of a simple example. There is some reaction, that is decomposition of this compound, that is potassium chloride. So potassium chlorate it is actually. So it decomposes at a temperature of 653 Kelvin to 873 Kelvin. This is the temperature required for the decomposition of this potassium chlorate into KCl plus 3O2. This is nothing but your potassium chlorate, right? So it undergo decomposition to form potassium chloride and oxygen. One of the method used for the preparation of this oxygen, right? Yes, this is the reaction which requires this much of temperature. But if you conduct the same reaction in the presence of some substances like manganese dioxide, if you conduct the same reaction in the presence of manganese dioxide, so then the temperature will be reduced to 473 to 633. 473 to 633 Kelvin, right? Same products you are going to get. Look at the requirement. So here the temperature is 653 to 873. Here the temperature is this much, and also if you look at the rate of reaction, that is time required to convert this chlorate to chloride, it is also low. It is also less. That is the characteristics of a catalyst. It increases the rate of a reaction, right, by decreasing the activation energy. You already learned in case of chemical kinetics that with the help of a graph, right? There is very important question there, very important 2 marks question there. right? So that means to say by lowering the activation energy, it increases the rate of a reaction. That is nothing but manganese dioxide acts as a catalyst for the decomposition of this potassium chloride. So it is in the absence of catalyst, it is in the presence of catalyst. That's how a catalyst alters the rate of a reaction. And it will be as it is at the end of the reaction. That is one of the property of a catalyst. You already learned that one also. So if you go on to the characteristics of catalyst, so it remains unaltered at the end of the chemical reaction. Just we can list out the characteristics of catalyst also. You can list out the characteristics of a catalyst. So what are those? The first one, characters, if you take characters of a catalyst, if you take the first one, it remains unchanged. It remains unchanged at the end of a reaction. Thereby you can reuse that catalyst for other reactions. That is the one of the property, or you can say characteristics of the catalyst. It does not alters equilibrium. It does not alters equilibrium because it increase or decrease both forward and backward reactions with same rate, right? So if there is some reversible reaction, so there attains the equilibrium. Now you are adding a catalyst means, so it will not alter the equilibrium. Why? Because the rate at which it directing or it increasing the forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. How much time it will take to convert the reactants to products in a forward reaction, that much time it is taking for the conversion of products into reactants, that is forward and backward reaction. That's why it does not alter the equilibrium constant, or you can say equilibrium. Likewise, we can have one more. Catalyst is highly specific in nature. Okay, so it is highly specific in nature. So it is a particular reaction. If some catalyst is there, it is increasing the rate of a chemical reaction. Particular reaction means it will increase the reaction, the same reaction, not the other reactions. The reactants changes, no, it will not identify those reactants. So that we are going to learn in detail in case of enzymes. They are also catalysts. They are highly specific in nature. By taking suitable examples, I will explain them. Right? So likewise, so you can have a catalyst is active at a particular temperature and pressure. At a particular temperature, we call that particular temperature as optimum temperature. What we call for that one? That is called as optimum temperature. So likewise, we can summarize so many properties of catalyst. So out of those, these are very important. You have to list out these. Again, we are going to discuss in detail about the enzymes properties. There the question will come, what are the characteristics of enzyme? Then you have to write that one. What are the characteristics of a catalyst means you have to write. One more I can add up here, that is the activity. That is the characteristics of a solid catalyst. It is. Question will come. What are the important characteristics of a solid catalyst means? You have to note down these two. One is the activity, another one is nothing but the specificity. Activity and specificity, or you can say selectivity. What is there? Selectivity. These are the two important characteristics of a solid catalyst. Solid catalyst, important there. So what is its catalytic? What is catalytic activity? The ability of a catalyst to convert the reactants into the products. The ability of a catalyst. It is the ability of a catalyst to alters the rate of a reaction. Rate of a reaction. It may increase or decrease once again here. That's why I am using the term alters. The rate of a reaction without undergoing any change in it. The activity depends on how much, or what you can say, what is the strength of chemisorption. Activity of a catalyst depends on what? Strength of chemisorption. That means to say how much strong bond the reactant will form on the surface of the catalyst, that much will be the rate of reaction. That means fast the reaction will take place. Right? That is very important. Okay. So, and then it should not be it should not be so strong that the catalyst will become immobilized. That means to say we are not able to remove those reactants into products. If they are fixed firmly, it should be strong, but not so that much strong that the catalyst may become immobilized. That we have to look after. That is very important concept again. So, understood what is the meaning of activity, and then in the periodic table if you look at, so the activity of this what is that solid catalyst, it is very high from that is what is the group 5 to 11 of D block. You know that, you know this concept. D block elements are very good catalysts. They act as catalyst because of the availability of vacant D orbital, or you can say because they are highly active. What is that? They are very good catalysts. We can see from group 5 to 11. Out of this group 5 to 11, from 7 to 9 groups are there, no group elements are there, no. They are very good catalyst, or you can say activity, very high activity we can see. Very high activity of catalyst we can see where at the what that is called as the 7 to 9 group. 5 to 11 is, yes, they act as catalysts, but out of 5 to 11 group 7 to 9 elements are there, no, they are very good catalyst because they provide more surface area. They will be in the finely divided state, so many points will be there, right. So here I can give the example of this platinum, palladium, then nickel. With so many reactions you are going to use these catalysts, right. Manganese, Mn. So all those are very good catalyst here. And again, if you have this one, activity is very high at 7 to 9 group, that you have to remember, right. So likewise, we can have other reactions also, or you can say one more important characteristics of a solid catalyst, that is nothing but the selectivity. That is one more important concept here. What is that? Selectivity, right. What is this selectivity? So, a particular catalyst act upon a particular reactant, or you can say it will catalyze a particular reaction. That is important. A particular catalyst catalyze a particular reaction. It is not the thing that whatever reaction, whatever catalyst you can use. It is not like that. It is highly specific in its action. It is highly selective in its action. So that we can understood with the help of simple example what they have given. So that is there is a reaction of that is carbon monoxide, that is a gaseous state, plus 3H2. What do you call for this mixture? This is called as synthetic gas or syngas, right? So that is, so carbon monoxide plus dihydrogen gas if you take, and the catalyst will be, say for example nickel, means what the product you are going to get? You are going to get the product that is nothing but the methane with the formation of a water molecule. Both will be in the gaseous state. Liquid. Yes, carbon monoxide reacts with dihydrogen, or when mixture of syngas is heated or treated with nickel catalyst, then there is a formation of methane. There is a hydrocarbon. Right, I am going to take the same reactants again, carbon monoxide plus dihydrogen gas. So if I treat these reactants in the presence of catalyst, that is copper or zinc oxide or chromium oxide. Okay. If you have these catalysts, so what the product you are going to get? So you are going to get an alcohol, that is CH3OH. CH3OH. So it is 1 carbon, 2 to the 4, 3 plus 1 4, and then O it is. So this is nothing but the liquid. Methyl alcohol you are going to get. Right? So one more example you can have when the same syngas is made to react with what? Only the copper catalyst. So reduction takes place, leads to the formation of what? Formaldehyde, that is an aldehyde. Formaldehyde, that is an aldehyde. So just look at the reactions, right? It is also in the gaseous state, right? It is also in the gaseous state. Look at these reactions here. So if you reacting the syngas with nickel, the products are methane and water. The same syngas with this catalyst, that is the zinc oxide or chromium oxide, you are going to get methanol. And then if you are going to react this mixture of carbon monoxide with dihydrogen in the presence of copper catalyst, you are going to get what? Formaldehyde. See, this is called as selectivity. The catalyst selects the reactants to form a particular product. It is selective in nature. It catalyzes a specific reaction. Even though reactants are same, the catalyst is different, so the products are particular. The products are specific in nature. The products are selective in nature. Right? If you see, that is called as what? Selectivity. So a particular catalyst forms a particular product. That is the one more important concept with regards to this solid catalyst. And then you should know about this one, that is so what are the two important characteristics of a solid catalyst? One is activity and one is selectivity. Activity is nothing but function of catalyst, right? So and then if you take selectivity means specific what is that enzyme form a specific product, or in specific catalyst will form a specific product, or it will catalyze a specific reaction. Like that also you can give. It is highly selective in its nature. It is not like this, whatever it may be the reactants, it will form whatever the products, not like that. So it is highly selective in its nature, right? Yes. Next, you should know about these substances. They are nothing but the promoters. What is that? Promoters. And one more is there. They are nothing but the inhibitors. Promoters, or you can say them as inhibitors. What are these promoters? So promoters, if I take the substances which enhance, enhances the activity of a catalyst. Activity of a catalyst. See, for a reaction to take place, catalyst is enough. Along with the catalyst, there are some other substances also which increases the activity of catalyst, not directly the rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is increased or decreased by catalyst only, but its activity is still enhanced, still increased. That means to say, if it is taking 10 minutes to convert some reactants into products, means if in the presence of promoter, that reaction will be within 6 to 7 minutes, 7 seconds. I told 10 seconds, no, like that. That much will be the rate of a reaction. So its activity is further increased with the presence of some substances promoters. It is just like, so if there is one student is well in all the activities and all, right, but he is having some hesitation. There should be some pushers, there should be some promoters, then only he will start, like that. Right, so starting problem, like that we are going to say no. Like that here, promoters are nothing but the substances which increases the activity of the catalyst, further increases the activity of the catalyst. I can give the example for this one. So you know about the reaction, that is N2G plus 3H2 in the presence of iron solid catalyst and molybdenum also. They have given molybdenum also. So what is the role of this molybdenum? That is important for us. So here solid iron acts as what? Catalyst. What about this one? It acts as a promoter. It binds somewhere on the catalyst and increases the activity of the catalyst. That's why it is called as promoter. It is promoting, it is enhancing, it is increasing what? The activity of a catalyst. So likewise, we are having one more that is called as inhibitors. So as the name inhibitors, right? As the name itself indicate, what are inhibitors? The substances which decrease the activity of a catalyst. Just like negative catalysts, they are decreasing. So here, if I take arsenic that acts as an impurity and decreases the activity of what? The catalyst, that is oxide of iron, or you can simply say that one as iron catalyst. So its activity will be enhanced by molybdenum and decreased by arsenic. What? Arsenic acts as inhibitor, or you can simply say them as poisons. They act as poisons, right? You can have the example of this one also, that is decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So metal ions will increase the decompositions, whereas the acetanilide, ammonia, alcohol, so they will avoid the decomposition of this one. So like that, they are called as inhibitors. They are decreasing the rate of reactions, or they are decreasing the activity of a catalyst. So likewise, we can say about the inhibitors and the what? The promoters, right? So one is increasing the activity of a catalyst, one is decreasing the activity of a catalyst. So with that, let us move on to the next concept here. After knowing about promoters and inhibitors, So types of catalysis. Yes, types of catalysis. Right. So what are those types? One is called as homogeneous. Yes, homogeneous catalysis. And one more is there, that is called as heterogeneous catalysis. Homogeneous and heterogeneous catalysis are the two types of catalysis. You know about the catalysis now. The phenomenon where a catalyst alters the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any change. That may be chemical change, or that may be the quantity change in it. Is called as catalyst. The process is called as catalysis. There are two types. One is the homogeneous and one more is called as the heterogeneous catalysis. Right. So if you observe this homogeneous catalysis, the catalytic process, it is a catalytic process in which reactants and the catalyst are in the same phase, right, are in the same phase. So that reactions or that catalytic process are called as the homogeneous catalysis. Again, important 2 marks question this is. Many times it has been asked. So the catalytic process in which reactants and the catalyst are in the same phase. What is the meaning of phase? State. Without making late, I am going to give the example, thereby you can understand very well. Homogeneous catalysis, right? Hydrolysis of ester. So you know meaning of ester. So when a carboxylic acid reacts with an alcohol in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, it forms into a ester. What ester it is? Methyl acetate. Simple example I have taken. Methyl acetate. So when it is subjected for hydrolysis. Okay. So it will form into okay, I had to mention the catalyst also. HCl, that is dilute HCl acts as a what? Catalyst. That is aqueous I will take. Okay, no problem. Okay, what it will form? So it is formed from carboxylic acid and alcohol. When it is hydrolyzed means those should be come out. So what you are going to get? CH3COOH plus what is there? CH3OH. An alcohol and a carboxylic acid you are going to get. An alcohol and a carboxylic acid. Which is the carboxylic acid? Acetic acid. Which is the alcohol? Methyl alcohol. If you made to react once again, they will form an ester and water molecule. So this hydrolysis of ester, if you observe, so it is in the liquid state, it is also in the liquid state, it is also in the liquid state. So the reactants and the catalyst are in the same phase. Such type of catalytic process are called as what? Homogeneous catalysis. Right? Let me write one more. Hydrolysis of starch, or you can say hydrolysis of sugar you can have. Hydrolysis of sugar. Hydrolysis of sugar. Okay, I will take starch means C12H22O11 plus water if you take. Okay, so it is liquid solution you have to take, it is also liquid. So this will happen in the presence of sulfuric acid. Okay, sulfuric acid, that is dilute again, that's why it is liquid. So what the product you are going to get? One is glucose C6H12O6 and one is fructose, that is also C6H12O6. So I will write glucose, fructose. So here also you observe that reactants and the catalyst are in the same phase. Reactants and the catalysts are in the same phase. One more reaction you can have here. So thereby if you forget any one, you can have the another one, right? SO2, that is sulfur dioxide. So it leads to the formation of sulfur trioxide. Sulfur dioxide, it leads to the formation of a sulfur trioxide. It is a gas, it is a gas, it is also a gas. It has not been balanced, it is 2 in the presence of nitric oxide catalyst. That is nitric oxide catalyst, sorry, that is also a gas. Because it is a homogeneous catalysis, right? Observe this reaction also. Hydrolysis of ester, hydrolysis of sugar, and then oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide it is. Oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide will happen in the presence of a catalyst, that is nothing but the nitric oxide. So you look at this reaction, both the reactants as well as the catalyst is in the same phase. Such type of reactions are called as such type of catalytic process are called as homogeneous catalysis. Yes, I think you understood. Let us move on to the next one, that is nothing but the heterogeneous catalysis. So what is this? Same way you can define this one. Let me write yes here. The catalytic process. The catalytic process in which both the reactants and the catalyst are in the same, no, it is not same, different phase, are in the different phase. Hetero means different. Yes, are you getting here? Hetero means different. Heterogeneous, that's why they are in a different phase. The whole definition is same, just you have to change here. Homo means same, hetero means different. Okay, let me write the example. So many examples we are having. So many examples we can give for this one, and it is very important also here, heterogeneous catalysis. You can have the familiar one, N2 plus 3H2G. Yes, in the presence of iron, that is a solid, leads to the formation of 2NH3 gaseous state. Formation of ammonia by Haber's process. You will discuss this one, right? Very important this is in case of your P block elements, right? So that's why so many times I also use this reaction. So this one is formation of ammonia by Haber's process, one example, and oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide in case of contact process. One is that one reaction, but catalyst is different here. So here you can have, so that is by contact process means 2SO2 gaseous state, in the presence of platinum catalyst it will be converted into 2SO3. Sulfur dioxide will be converted into sulfur trioxide. So that is nothing but oxidation of sulfur dioxide to, so for that oxygen is required, right, plus O2. Same reaction, catalyst is difference. So what you have to observe here? Both the reactants and the catalyst are in the different phase. Platinum is in the solid state. Likewise, you can have that is manufacture of nitric acid by Oswald process also, right? So I am writing all the important reactions. Thereby you can recall those reactions, right? Yes, that is ammonia, the gaseous state, and oxygen in the gaseous state in the presence of platinum rubidium catalyst, that is in the solid state, form nitric oxide and then water molecule. It is again in the gaseous state. Okay, it is balance 6 plus 4, 10, it is 4 to the 8. It is 5O2. 5O2, 4 plus 6, 10 it is. Okay, 4 3s are 15, 6 2s are 12. Okay, so 6H2O, 4, 5, 4, 6. Okay, like that I am going to recall this one. 4, 5, 4, 5, this is 4, 5, 4, 6. Right? So here observe here the ammonia as well as oxygen in the gaseous state. But you look at this one, platinum rubidium catalyst is in the solid state. One more example I just want to give, that is nothing but hydrogenation of oil. So if you take vanaspati oil and that is in the liquid state. Okay, so hydrogen in the presence of hydrogen, that is in the gaseous state. Okay, or that is yes. Catalyst is nickel, that is in the solid state. What you are going to get the product here? Yes, recall, you already studied this one, that is fat. You observe all these reactions. There are so many other reactions also. Whenever you are going to see the chemical reactions, no, observe if they have given what is the solid state, what is the state of catalyst and what is the state of the reactants. Don't bother about the products. The important during the types of catalysis are nothing but the states of reactants and states of the catalyst. Right? Understood? I hope you all understood. These are very important reactions. You have to learn this reaction not only here but also in case of your P block elements. Right? And also so many times we are going to take these examples while studying the equilibrium. Most of the reactions are reversible in nature, likewise. So whatever, so heterogeneous catalysis means the catalytic process in which both the reactants and the catalyst are in the different phase. These are all are the examples where we can see that catalyst is in one state and reactants are in different state. Whereas in case of homogeneous catalysis, so catalyst and the reactants are in the same phase. Right? So I hope you understood this much. Let us move on to the next, another important concept here. Okay, so that is adsorption theory of this, right here, adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. So it is very important how this catalysis happen, how a catalyst increases or decreases the rate of reaction by binding to the reactants, right? So why we are studying this catalysis here? Because it is also a surface phenomenon. Catalysis is also a surface phenomenon, right? So here that is you know about the old theory. Old theory. What does that say? Which is that old theory which explain the catalysis? That is adsorption theory. Only the adsorption theory. Okay. According to this theory, what is that? What does this theory says? The reactants bind to the surface of a catalyst as their concentration increases, that is the number of reactants increases on the surface of the catalyst. First they will simply goes on binding on the surface of the catalyst. Once their concentration increases, they will react with each other, leads to the formation of product that will come out from the surface of that catalyst. That is the simple mechanism, right? As the surface and as their concentration increases, the rate of reaction increases, leads to the formation of products. This is the simple theory, formation of products. Okay, this is the old theory. Now again one more theory was proposed, that is intermediate complex formation theory. What does that theory says? So here a catalyst, you already learned this one in case of your chemical kinetics again. So whenever a catalyst binds to the reactant, say I am taking that reactant as R, it will form into a catalyst reactant intermediate, right? So which upon further reaction form into catalyst plus product. Here this complex is there, no? It decreases the activation energy. I think you learned this graph, right? So this one. So whenever the catalyst and the reactant will react, they will form. Say if it is catalyst and then plus reactant, they will form into catalyst reactant, finally catalyst plus product. So what is this there, no? So it is without catalyst. You learn this graph. Without catalyst, the activation energy will be more. Right, so here it lowers the activation energy. And leads to the formation of the product. That is the importance of a catalyst. It lowers the activation energy. Are you getting the concept? Yes, like that. This is the, here you can see that in between the formation of a reaction of reactant and formation of product, there is one more state. That state is nothing but your transition state, or you can say the intermediate state. Then there is a formation of a complex between the reactant and the catalyst, which lowers the activation energy and forms the products. That also you learn. That is the concept in case of intermediate complex theory. Now the combination of these two is nothing but our adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. It is the combination of the old theory and the new theory. Okay, so that is intermediate theory. What is that? Adsorption theory. So what does this say? First I will write a simple representation for this one, then I am going to write the postulates. See, a catalyst, it is having free vacancies, or you can say free valencies. Okay, catalyst having free valencies. Some catalyst it is nickel, palladium, platinum, whatever it may be the catalyst you can have. So it is having catalyst with free valency. Catalyst with free valency. Free valencies. Right? Now, if you add what? The reactants A plus B. You are adding the reactants to the catalyst. So what happens then? So adsorption of reacting molecules. First, adsorption. See, adsorption it is. Adsorption of reacting molecules. Which are the reacting molecules here? reactants. These two are reacting molecules or reacting species you can have. Reacting molecules or reacting species. They will get adsorbed on the surface of the what? Catalyst. So then that leads to the formation of catalyst. So this is the catalyst again. So here the reactants will bind to the, or you can say adsorb on the surface of the catalyst. Again what happens? So those reactants will react with each other. So how that we can represent here? So this will be again the same. There is a connection here. Yes. It is called as what? Our intermediate. This is called as the intermediate. See, this is a combination of the old theory and the new theory, right? Adsorption, the reactants are adsorbed and they will react, leads to the formation of product. That was according to the old theory, but once they get adsorbed, so they will react with each other, they will form bonds, bond breaking and bond making will take place. Here leads to the formation of an intermediate. This is the formation of an intermediate, right? Finally, when they react with each other, so desorption. What happens? Desorption of products. Desorption of products. That means to say product, say AB. If it is a product, it will come out, plus our catalyst will be as it is without any change in it. Without any change in it. Recall the definition of catalyst. I taken like this only now in the first. Now it is again the same. Right? What about this one? This is nothing but the product and this is nothing but the catalyst which is regenerated at the end of a reaction without any change in it. And now it is available for other reaction or 1 mole cycle of the reaction. That's why if we are having a small amount of catalyst, no, that is enough. Small amount of catalyst, no, that is enough. That will convert large number of reactants into the products. Again, regain. If it is binding, if it is properly, if some poisons or inhibitors bind to that one, they will destroy the activity of the catalyst. Otherwise, simply the catalyst will again and again reuse. That's why in industrial processes, the use of catalyst they prefer. Right? That is the concept. Understood this one? Simply, just if you go through this one, so what is happening here in case of this what is the heterogeneous theory of that is adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. You can see that, so first the reactants will diffuse on the surface of this catalyst and they will get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst, and then after adsorption they will react with each other, chemical reaction takes place. Once the chemical reaction takes place, the product will dissolve. Desorption. What is the meaning of desorption? Remove. It is a reverse of adsorption. Okay. Only the reactant can bind to the catalyst, not the products, because there will be change in the structure of that product that will be identified by the catalyst. That's why it will dissolve from the surface of the catalyst. This is how, this is called as what? Adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. Very important theory this is. Simply the postulates or assumption of this theory are, first one, so that is diffusion of reactants on the surface of the catalyst. Second one, adsorption of the reactants on the surface of the catalyst. First you are adding, diffuse means from just you are having a catalyst, you are adding the reactants from higher concentration to lower concentration. They will cover the whole surface of the catalyst. Wherever the valencies or vacancies are available, there it will get diffused and then it will get adsorbed. After adsorption, there will be a chemical reaction between those reactants, leads to the formation of the product. Once the product is formed, so there will be a change in the shape of that product. That's why that will be dissolved from the surface of the catalyst and you are going to get back the catalyst. That's why very small amount of catalyst is enough to convert large number of reactants into the products. Yes, I think you understood this one also. It's a very important theory. So then one more concept I have to discuss here. So that is nothing but about shape selective catalysis. Shape selective catalysis. What is that? Very small concept. I will stop and then I will continue. So what is that? Shape selective catalysis. What is this shape selective catalysis? Shape, it is also 2 marks question. Shape selective catalysis, or 1 marks may be asked in different ways. Shape selective catalysis. Okay, the catalytic reaction which depends on, nodi, in the name itself, shape selective, it depends on, which depends on the pore shape and size of reactants. Yes, is called, yes, what is that? Shape selective catalyst. Shape selective catalyst. Are you getting? So here the catalytic reaction is mainly depends on the pore shape and size of the reactants. What is that pore shape means? So on the surface of the reactants has to bind on the surface of the catalyst, no? So there should be some vacancies, there should be some valencies, that those pores, and the shape of the pore and size of the reactants. If very big pore is there and a small what is that? Say simply you can have the surface of catalyst, right? Very big pore is there, and then we are having a small reactant, size of reactant, very small reactant. So if it bind on the surface of this one, there will be no strong. The activity, there is no strong bonding between, because there is a variation in the size. How much pore shape is there? What is the shape of pore? Like that only the size of the reactant. And then if there is a, say for example, there is a small pore here and if the size of the reactant is more, means can it bind? No, then also the reaction will not take place. You have to see all these also. So what is that shape selective catalyst means? We can give one example for that one, that is ZSM5. So zeolite pore size or porosity of 5, molecular porosity of 5, that is ZSM5. You know about zeolite. Okay, so it is microporous, honeycomb-like structure, microporous honeycomb-like structure it is having, which is that zeolite. You observe the honeycomb, right? So that is having many pores. Like that our zeolite is also. Zeolite sieve it is. Sieve means you know about jardi, that we are going to filter, use to filter. So that is zeolite sieve of molecular porosity 5, size of that pore it is, right? So like that, so this will be the appearance of that zeolite. So usually what is present here, it is actually the aluminosilicate. What it is present here? Aluminosilicates. Zeolite is nothing but aluminosilicate. You know sodium aluminium silicate that is used in the softening of hot water. It is aluminosilicate. So AlOSi, like this, the network like structure you are going to see. Network of this one, again AlOSi, like that you are having. So where some of the aluminium are replaced by silicon or silicon replaced by aluminium. So network of this aluminosilicates you are going to see, and that will lead to the formation of a microporous honeycomb like structure So that's why it is specific in its pore shape and the size of the reactant. Very important this is. So what is shape selective catalysis? Give example. So what is where we can use this zeolite? There is one reaction where we can convert this one, that is nothing but alcohol directly to petrol. Alcohol directly to petrol. There we are going to use this ZSM5. Petrol, or you can say that one as gasoline. So in case of green chemistry, you are going to use this one. Single step process, conversion of alcohol to gasoline. ZSM5 will be used, which is the reactant here. Alcohol is the reactant. So then it depends on the size of the pore and the shape of the pore and the size of the reactant also. Then only this reaction will easily takes place. So that is called as shape selective catalysis. Okay, so these are the important concept with reference to the our catalyst, that is a chemical catalyst, adsorption theory, all those are very important, and one more important concept is this one. Okay, so let us have a short break, then I will continue the enzyme catalysis. Thereby we can end up the concept of catalysis. Okay, thank you.